Okay, what's good? It's been a minute. Well, for you guys, it's probably been just, like a few days or whatever. But for me, it's been a minute. I've been, okay, I see. I've been out and about and getting things done, but that's neither here nor there. As you can see, some things have changed, or actually, compared to my last video, I don't think anything has changed at all. I think this actual footage is going to just be covering like maybe the next 2 to 5 levels. This playtime was over an hour, but it doesn't really seem like I changed too much about the build overall. In terms of leveling, I'm just running around with shield charge and using frost blink whenever I'm not shield charging, hitting whoever I can find with arc, using elemental weakness on enemies like bosses. Really, I don't feel like spamming it a whole bunch, and then using my orb of storms on pretty much anything that has me standing around for too long while I'm fighting. That's also when I would use elemental weakness as well. If I'm fighting like a mini boss, where you see me right now in the game, believe it or not, I'm actually on my third character as of right now in this exact same spot. I'll explain later, and I should have footage for all that. But yes, this is the Thunder Herald autobomber, and this is like the total, you know, just experience of it so far with me leveling. As you can probably see, the guy in my party is actually one of my friends that I pretty much got into Path of Exile, and now he plays way more than me and has gotten much farther than I have in like this league's time compared to our previous leagues. But once again, I will also explain that a little later on. Uh, just overall, he just traded me like a grab, which I think it's supposed to be for this character later on because I told him I was using lightning, and so I believe he traded me a lightning one. And so yeah, as you can see, the build feels pretty nice. And this is still the leveling portion, so I haven't even made it to maps yet. And here we are in the lab. I can't remember if this was my first lab or my second. I believe this is my first, but essentially, it's same old, same old. Because of my overall health and energy shield, I get like that little bit of extra defense, to kind of keep me alive. And I'm doing a significant amount of damage, I feel like, with the build that I have. Everything actually feels pretty great, pretty smooth, and overall it's just a super enjoyable time. So as you can see, I'm just running around, goofing off, looking for the door and ready to take a Zaro out. I believe it or not, throughout this whole like experience, I got this build from 0 to like 91 over the course of, if I had to do accumulated time. I don't know if they show the overall hours played for a character, but if I had to guess, I'd say I actually put about 7 hours in total for my character. Sorry, I just noticed that there's a comforter on my bed. There's probably a comforter from my parents, which, I mean, I'm grateful for them sharing, but I don't know how clean it is, so I'm not trying to go putting something like that on my bed right this moment. And I'm leaving all this in, so that's not getting edited out. I don't even know if you'll be able to hear that. Regardless, yeah, there I am in the lab. You see me doing my moves, getting everything together. I was collecting heavy belts for a mage blood, cube of absorption. Oh, I guess that was for something else. Anyway, yeah, let me skip past all this. Okay, so yeah, by this point you see the all the heralds are running. I believe I had all the heralds running to begin with, so maybe that's just nothing different. But as you can see, it looks like it's becoming a bit more effective now. Really, overall, I've just been pushing, and it's been a pretty smooth experience. I'd like to say I haven't really found any hiccups with the build overall, but I'd say an accumulated amount of hours that it took to get the character from like start to 91 for me, I'd say is probably like 6, maybe 7. All the hours that are racked up in the leftover footage I have are purely from like me going AFK to do something, or like checking the shop, or going to pee, doing homework on the phone, talking to friends, just extra stuff that kind of kept me out of the game. So all the actual footage isn't like a proper amount of time spent played, in my opinion. It really took nothing to get through campaign at all. In fact, campaign only took as long as it did because I was focusing on the league mechanic rather than just blowing through it. For the first character, I decided to focus on all the passives, do pretty much as many league mechanics as I could come across until I got to like the end of campaign, and that was pretty much the experience. You probably noticed by now I replaced my arc lightning with ball lightning, and I have this skill next to my shield charge. It is a transfigured skill that I got from the lab. I skipped that part. It's a super long recording. I just didn't want these videos to run like super long. But I forget exactly what the skill is. The skill is like mad overpowered, though, in my opinion. It's one of those lightning skills where like you basically charge up a charge and it does like an AoE attack while you're fighting. I forget the exact name of it, but it bursts single target damage down heavy. My game plan was to show recordings of it to my friend, but to be honest, after all this time, I doubt he'd ever actually care how quick I was able to burst the campaign boss down. Okay, now as you can see, I'm probably about to spin some doubloons on a pack. So yeah. All right, here we are. We're fighting Piety. I just want to show proof of it. Check this out. You know, I hit her with the orb, then I hit her with the normal attack, and then I hit her with the charge. You see the charge? Look at the charge with the herald lightning. Yeah, look, oh, bro, oh my gosh. Right? She didn't even get the chance to transform. In fact, I don't think she transforms until the cruel axe. I could be wrong though. And yeah, so I get this done, and essentially, we're just blowing through the game, right? The skill kind of feels like it begins to fall off. It does physical damage to an extent, and my entire setup is basically centered around lightning. So even though it does a little bit of lightning, it also scales off physical, and I just don't do a lot of physical. So I use it for single target damage pretty heavy, but to be honest, I dropped the skill, I want to say about probably about like level 60, 50, 70 before campaign ends, or like right after campaign ends. I want to say I might actually be using it until early maps. Don't take my word for it. I remember the skill name. It was like Divine Ire of Lightning, something of that sort. And as you can see, it came in mad clutch for fighting bosses, in my opinion. It was also great for when I got swarmed, so it was pretty great for this league mechanic. And getting any other graphs that boosted lightning damage, which, by the way, fun little fact, I had a little slow moment. I thought the skills that came with the graphs were the only things that like the graphs were useful for, but it turns out the graphs also have passives that also apply to your character. So, you know, there's two sets of stats. You should definitely keep your eye on that if you want to be a little bit more successful, I would say. But all in all, this was a pretty fun experience getting through maps up until about the time that I made it to like Act 8 or so. That's when things started slowing down. But to be honest, I think I was just getting burnt out from playing for such a long time and essentially not one sitting, but just all in all together. Okay, so fast forward a little bit, and here I am working on gear. I'm not entirely sure what was going on in this case. I go away for a long time. I took away a lot of the audio because a lot of the audio is like me watching YouTube videos or talking to friends or talking to like people in general or just having music playing, and that could be a little jarring. Plus, you can't really just go posting anything and everything on YouTube in that regard, such as that. So I'll just kind of spit some things out while we're sitting here. First and foremost, apparently the new league mechanic is great for obtaining gear. I wasn't really utilizing the trees super heavy. I didn't think it would be super useful until maps. I hear you're able to get like 5 to 6 links around Act 4 of the game, which is huge if you want to go prioritizing damage or health or whatever the case may be, because you have all these extra gems plus a torso that comes with bonus stats, and it's not tabula rasa, right? So that's super great. You don't just have to use it for chess pieces. It can also work for weapons and any other gear and jewelry as well. It's all kind of like a by chance per chance kind of thing. But honestly, if you are running the actual league mechanic, then you're farming up enough currency to get what it is you need. Me personally, because I'd seen YouTubers doing it and was talking over it with my friend, it seemed like I was pushing more so towards like uniques and the chance of getting a divine or a mage blood or something else of that sort. So I wasn't as focused as I probably should have been on crafting the gear from the tree as much as I was trying to get like really special loot from the tree, which by the way never happened. Didn't get a divine, didn't get anything really. My friend got several, so just two different people's experiences through RNG. Um, but yeah, I should have definitely focused it on getting gear more. As you can see at this point, I'm starting to craft stuff on top of gear. I don't think I've paid for any of this gear that I'm wearing. It was either purely picked up off the floor, potentially found in the shop, or maybe came from the tree. But more times than not, I just didn't use it a whole bunch. Um, like in terms of getting actual gear from the tree. So there's a pretty good chance that all this gear you're seeing is just stuff that I got off the floor. Um, and tried to put stuff on it to make it more useful for what it was that I needed. I remember at this time I was focusing more so on energy shield more than anything as like my overall defensive layer or my main defensive layer. So that's most likely what you'll see. And I believe the shield I got is suppressed spell damage, which I believe actually did come from the tree back when I was using it. But I had like my options for the tree just sporadic and random. I wasn't using anybody's guides for it just to see how the overall experience would feel. And I think that's at least one of the reasons why I kind of strayed away from it because I felt like I wasn't getting what it is I should have been getting. But to be fair, I wasn't actually prioritizing getting specific gear from the tree. I just kind of kept rolling with like as many nodes checked as possible, which is not the smartest way of handling things. But I was really just trying to get through story. So yeah, this is where it stops. I'll tune in again for the next one soon.